Hey guys, Dr. Kyle Loveless here. Thanks so much for watching this video. I know that if you're watching this video right now, then you probably have some sort of a digestive issue. It might be bloating and pain, it might be constipation, it might be diarrhea, it might be all those combined. And I know that if you're watching this video, you want to get rid of it. And so I'm going to give you 3 things today that if you make these changes in your lifestyle and in your diet, that it will help your digestive system and help you use the restroom better or help you feel less bloated or whatever that might be. It's gonna help you digest food better, okay? Also, watch this video till the end. I'm gonna give you a bonus. I'm gonna give you 3 different eating plans that I recommend to almost all patients with digestive issues, but specifically how you can tell which one you should be doing. I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the video, so stick with that. Finally, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can continually get the stuff we're sharing with you and continue to learn and become your own health expert instead of having to rely on everybody else or some other doctor to give you a medication or tell you what's wrong with your body. You can actually become that own expert by continually searching things out. All right, so when it comes to digestion, there's a lot of things that you can do, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that you've tried at this point. I know for myself, I grew up with a lot of digestive issues actually, especially in high school. I started getting irritable bowel syndrome after taking a lot of pain medications, and I mean, I was to the point where I played soccer growing up, so every time I would play soccer, I would be rinsed over in pain, my stomach would hurt, I couldn't use the restroom afterwards, but everything hurt. I mean, it was just bad, and it was this constant battle with digestive issues. And I tried everything. I would try going to doctors, taking medications. I would try over-the-counter medications. I would also try things like different supplements that I heard online or that I had read about or been told about. And it just seemed like nothing was really hitting the point. And so I'm going to share with you 3 things today that I know that if you change these things, it will help your digestion. Now, will it get rid of all your digestive problems? I don't know. The only way I could positively tell you that is if I was talking to you and knew you individually. So there is an individual aspect to it always. However, I know that these things are going to be a good addition to your daily regimen that will help you with your digestion. Okay, so let's dive into this. And again, I want to say this again. So I know you've probably tried a lot of things, and I want to encourage you that maybe those weren't the answer, or maybe they were part of the answer and they weren't the full answer. So it doesn't always mean something didn't fully heal everything problem you have, doesn't mean it wasn't the part of the answer. So stick with those things, and it's all about getting back up and keep trying, keep searching for answers. And that's really what these videos are about, is to give you an opportunity to keep searching for answers. When I work with patients, it's about what's the problem, how can we figure out what's causing your digestive problem, and then go through a protocol to see if it gets better. And if it doesn't get better or doesn't get to 100%, then we keep searching until we get to that answer. And then eventually we get to a good point, okay? So these 3 things, though, I know will make a big change for you. So I'm gonna start out, first thing, and I probably start every video out by saying do this because it's so hard on your overall health, but remove gluten, dairy, soy, and corn, especially for digestive issues. Our body doesn't understand these foods. They're highly genetically modified foods in our world. There's multiple just different genetic makeups in our food system, and they're really, really hard for our body to digest and break down, specifically gluten. So gluten is actually, it's like this gummy substance. When we eat it, our body doesn't understand it. And so it looks at that and it says, okay, there's an infection coming in. So our body actually creates an immune response to the gluten. It releases, our stomach releases something, our digestive system releases something called zonulin that actually gaps the epithelial lining, the lining of our digestive system, and it allows things to get through the bloodstream. It actually creates an immune response to that gluten. So whether you have a major allergy to it, or maybe you have an autoimmune disease like celiac to gluten, either way, if you're someone that you feel nothing at all when you eat gluten, I can promise you it's still causing health problems. And if you're constipated, you absolutely want to get gluten out. Same with dairy. Dairy is very hard to digest. It's super broken down in terms of highly pasteurized, has a lot of hormones and different chemicals in there. And when you high heat dairy, you kill off a lot of the enzymes that help you digest dairy. So think of this. So lactase helps you digest lactose. Well, it gets killed off when you heat it. And so you just have a bunch of sugar, which is what lactose is. And that's why a lot of people will be lactose intolerant, but it's hard for all of us really to break down. Soy, corn, same thing. Corn isn't a vegetable, guys, it's a grain. And there's a reason you see it on the other end in the toilet, because it isn't digesting and it's a lot of work on your body. And it really just turns to sugar anyways. So I know those are good foods. I know the hardest part about what I just told you, it's in everything. And that's the way, unfortunately, the FDA has created it and the food pyramid created it. But if you want to make that shift want to no longer have digestive issues, I can tell you those are an absolute must. You want to change those right away. And you don't have to have any kind of food allergy testing to say get those out, because I know everyone has a hard time digesting those. Okay, the second thing is, what do we got here? The second thing I want to share with you is some supplements. And anytime I have a patient, and the reason I'm actually shooting this video is in the last probably 4 days, I've had 3 or 4 patients come in specifically with digestive problems, and right off the bat, before we do any testing, I recommend testing for sure, stool testing or food allergy testing, or just whatever testing we can do to figure out why you're having the problem. But before we do any of that, there's some things you can start out doing that I know are going to be beneficial, and these supplements are them. Number one is a supplement called Digest Well, and it's ultimately what it is hydrochloric acid and apple cider vinegar, okay? Now you can take apple cider vinegar by itself, you can take hydrochloric acid by itself, but I specifically like this supplement because it puts those two together, and what those two things do is they do an amazing job at supporting the acid in your stomach. A lot of the reason people are constipated is because they're not breaking down their food in the stomach. It's getting into the lower GI tract as protein instead of as amino acids, and it's hard to break down. It becomes, and you start getting constipation issues. You also get mineral nutrient deficiencies as well. And so your stomach acid is the starting point for that digestion, or one of the main starting points for digestion. And so making sure that you have a good stomach acid is huge. So apple cider vinegar is a great one, but I like that supplement called Digest Well. It does an amazing job. The second supplement that I'm gonna recommend is a supplement called Albizia. Now, this is actually not necessarily a supplement as much as it is an herb, okay? But it's an herb, and it's actually called the feel-good herb, because it also helps stimulate neurotransmitter activity and makes you feel really good. But the reason I recommend it for digestion, more importantly, is that it helps reduce that histamine response, kind of helps calm inflammation in the gut, and many times if you're eating foods that you're allergic to that you don't know about, it can help calm some of that response. So it's a liquid herb, it's called Albizia, it's awesome. The other one I recommend is something called Wellzymes, and specifically that's digestive enzymes, but it's a broad spectrum digestive enzymes that all the organs like your pancreas and your liver and your stomach that they produce, put those in there and they help break down your food. So if you're constipated, right, or you're having gut issues, we know there's probably an issue with breaking down food, and so let's support it by giving your body some extra digestive enzymes every time you eat. Okay, and that's an awesome thing to do. The last supplement that I recommend is another herb, which most of you are familiar with. A lot of you might drink it in a tea, but it's called chamomile. Okay, and chamomile is so awesome as a gut health supplement because it actually excites something called your goblet cells, right? Cool word, goblet cells, okay? And they're the cells in your stomach and your digestive system that actually produce a mucosal lining for the bacteria, right? We talk about probiotics all the time. For that good bacteria and all the immune factors that you need to break down food, to kill off viruses, to kill bacteria in your food off, it helps create that mucosal lining so that you can actually break down food properly. So it helps stimulate those goblet cells. So those 4 supplements right there. First thing right off the bat, if somebody has digestive problems, whether it's constipation, diarrhea, whether it's bloating and pain, or all the above, I start out with those because I know they're only going to benefit them. They might not be the full answer, and I'll tell you a lot of times that is. They change that. They get some chiropractic care, which is actually the third thing I'm going to recommend, and they take those supplements, and that's all they need. But a lot of times it's going to be more in depth than that. And that takes me to the third thing, which is always my favorite thing, is chiropractic care. And you might be thinking to yourself, actually I can almost promise you're thinking to yourself, what does chiropractic care have to do with digestive problems, right? And it's kind of funny that we don't connect those dots because the spine encases the spinal cord, and your spinal cord, your brain actually sends signals to through your spinal cord to the rest of your body to tell it to work. If that connection, that brain-body connection isn't strong, you're not going to be digesting food very well, number one. Number two, if you're in a constant stress response, right? If you've had physical trauma from a car accident, an injury, a fall, if you're on a computer all the time like this, right? That's like 90% of the population. If you spend most of your day sitting, if you've had any kind of, if you sleep on your stomach, all these different things that actually cause problems in the spine, and it creates a physical stress in the body, puts the body into a fight or flight response, right? We've all heard this fight or flight response is becoming very popular right now. It actually blocks that vagal response, which is your relaxed, digest food, sleep, your parasympathetic nervous system. It blocks that. And when we adjust the spine, it actually stimulates that parasympathetic. It helps the body handle stress better and adapt to its environment. So I'll tell you the number one thing, along with sleep, better sleep, that we see in the first month of care with anyone with chiropractic care is almost always better digestion and sleeping better. And it's because it gets their body into that relaxed, digest food state. And so if somebody comes in with digestive problems, I love giving supplements, I love teaching about better nutrition and doing testing, but the easiest and most effective thing I've ever seen is chiropractic care. And in fact, the most referrals we get from pediatricians, there's two things that we get the most referrals from pediatricians. It's ear infections and constipation. And it's because when we adjust a baby, it's within usually that day they start using the restroom. And I've had babies that haven't gone in 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll adjust them that day and they'll go to the restroom because it helps, again, it stimulates that nervous system. So chiropractic care is awesome. So those are the top 3 things that I highly recommend doing. And here's this, guys, I got actually bonus for you. I'm gonna give you 3 diets that if you follow, 3 diets based on the symptoms that you have. So you can actually decide which diet works best for you based on your symptoms, okay? And I recommend one of these 3 diets almost always to someone with, again, digestive issues. Number 1 is something called the Fodmap Diet. And this is really good for someone that has something called SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And the reason it's so good is because it helps reduce the fermentation in the body. And so there's certain foods that are called low FODMAP foods, okay? And you can get this eating plan. If you want to learn more about that eating plan, just click on the links below. I'll have a link down there in the comments area. But click on that and you can look at the FODMAP diet. But a sign that you might have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is that if you eat a lot of vegetables, if you're eating a lot of high fibery foods and things like that, and you just feel bloated all the time, right? You know, we think if you want to be healthy, you got to eat salad. But you don't know how many people that when they eat salad, they feel bloated and they actually get worse. That's a good sign that you actually have SIBO. And so the FODMAP diet will put those foods that are going to be less negative on the body in that aspect, okay? And then the second diet that I love, and I've seen amazing benefits with patients with, is called the plant paradox diet. And this is really good for anyone because it gets rid of foods that are harder to digest in terms of foods with gluten in them, foods with high lectin count. And lectin is actually a pesticide that a lot of vegetables and fruits have in them. Like tomatoes, for instance, are very high in lectin. They're very hard for our body to digest. Cashews, one of the worst foods on the planet for your body because it's so hard to break down. And so we think these are natural foods, they're good for us, but they're really hard to break down. A great testimonial for the plant paradox diet. My sister actually tried a lot of different diets over her life, and I think she lost over 160 pounds on that plant paradox diet. It's legit. It's created by a cardiologist, I think, Dr. Gundry. So I'll put a link for that as well. And then the final eating plan or diet, I hate the word diet, so more so eating plan that I recommend is if you think you might have yeast issues, if you have psoriasis, eczema, some sort of a skin issue along with gut problems, then I'm gonna recommend something that helps reduce yeast in your body, and that is gonna be the Body Ecology diet. Great diet, and I'm losing in my mind the person that wrote that diet, but I'll put a link for that as well, and that helps reduce yeast in your body. It's a harder diet to follow, but it does an amazing job of helping reduce yeast. All right, guys, hey, if you're having digestive issues and you want more help with your health, connect with us. We'll help make sure you get you better. And more importantly, if you want to learn more, it's all about becoming and continuing to be your own health expert. If you want to learn more, go into the comments. We have an ebook in there on inflammation. It'll teach you so much more about inflammation and how to help continue to get your body better and get rid of any symptoms you might be dealing with. You guys have an awesome day.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to connect with us and learn more, we're constantly shooting information or shooting videos. We actually have a blog as well, and we have a website where you can learn so much more. If you want help with your health, you can actually connect with us, come into our clinic, or jump on a phone call with us and see if we can help you. To do that, go to the links below in the information area and click those areas, and then you can move forward and see how we can actually address and help you with your health issues as well.